There's a silence that speaks louder than words, a glance that feels too fleeting, a moment of dismissal so subtle it escapes our conscious mind. But what if these whispers in your interactions are telling you something you've been unwilling to confront? What if someone in your life, someone you trust or see every day, dislikes you and they're hiding it? This isn't about suspicion or overthinking. It's about awareness, the kind that frees you from confusion and fosters true understanding. By the time you finish this video, you'll know the signs and, more importantly, how to deal with them the Stoic way. Have you ever walked into a room, greeted everyone with warmth, but sensed something wasn't right? A pause too long, a smile too thin, or even words that sounded polite but felt off. These moments stay with us. They tug at the edges of our peace, begging us to question, is it me or is it them? Together, we'll unravel this and learn to stand above it. Before we dive in, let me ask for your help. This channel is dedicated to empowering people like you to navigate life with clarity, resilience, and wisdom. If that resonates with you, if you believe in mastering life with reason and calm, hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe. Your support helps build a community grounded in strength and understanding. And we can't do it without you. Life is full of impressions, subtle interactions that leave marks on our emotions and thoughts. But the Stoics teach us not to be controlled by these impressions, but to understand them. Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher-emperor whose words resonate through time, once wrote, "If someone despises me, that is their problem. My only concern is whether I am acting justly." These words aren't just a call to detach ourselves from the judgments of others. They're a reminder to live with integrity and discernment. But how do we discern when someone harbors resentment toward us? The truth is, we often miss these signals. We overlook or rationalize them because recognizing them can be uncomfortable. And yet, recognizing the truth is the first step to emotional resilience and harmony. Let me ask you this. Have you ever misjudged a relationship, thinking someone was a friend, only to later realize they were quietly undermining you? This isn't just about interpersonal drama. It's about safeguarding your mental peace and ensuring you don't let negativity fester around. Here's a story. A colleague of mine once worked tirelessly on a project, going above and beyond to support a team member. The two seemed friendly enough on the surface, exchanging polite conversation and even grabbing the occasional coffee together. But over time, there were small signs, sarcastic remarks passed off as jokes, a lack of acknowledgement during meetings, and eventually exclusion from key decisions. By the time the truth emerged, that the team member had been actively discrediting their efforts, it was too late to salvage the professional relationship. Moments like this remind us why identifying hidden dislike is vital. It's not about confrontation. It's about understanding the dynamics around us and protecting our well-being. Stoicism is not a philosophy of avoidance. It's a philosophy of preparation, of facing reality with courage and clarity. You might think identifying dislike is straightforward. But here's the catch. It rarely looks the way you expect it to. Some of these signs might surprise you. They might even feel counterintuitive. But subtlety is often the language of concealed emotions. As we go through each of these 7 signs, You'll see how they weave into daily interactions, sometimes so quietly that they're easy to miss. And by the end of this video, you won't just recognize these signs. You'll have the tools to respond with the calm, strength that Stoicism teaches. Sign 1. Avoidance of eye contact. There's a certain weight in eye contact, a quiet confirmation of presence, honesty, and even discomfort. But when someone consistently avoids meeting your gaze, it's more than a simple habit. Why does this matter? Because in the absence of connection, avoidance often reveals what words cannot. According to Stoic thought, unresolved internal conflict is often projected outward. When someone avoids eye contact, it's rarely about you. It's about their struggle to reconcile their feelings. Epictetus reminds us to observe without judgment, to see things as they are and not as we wish them to be. This behavior might be their way of masking resentment, guilt, or even fear of confrontation. I remember speaking to someone I'd considered a close friend during a difficult time in my life. As I opened up, they nodded along, but rarely met my eyes. It wasn't until later that I learned they had been silently frustrated with me, feeling I'd leaned on them too heavily. Their avoidance wasn't about disinterest. It was a subtle cue of emotions they hadn't voiced. What do you think? Have you noticed someone avoiding your gaze recently? Was it intentional or just a quirk? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. Sign 2. Passive-aggressive remarks. Not every expression of dislike comes as a direct confrontation. Often it's cloaked in sarcasm, thinly veiled as humor, or wrapped in compliments that feel more like criticisms. But why is passive aggression so common and so telling? The Stoics teach us to remain unprovoked, observing behavior as external data. A passive, aggressive remark often reflects the speaker's internal conflict, not a genuine critique of you. Marcus Aurelius urged us to focus on our own actions. Asking, is what I am doing aligned with virtue? Observing rather than reacting is your power here. At a previous job, I worked with someone who frequently said things like, "Oh, must be nice to have so much free time to work on that project," with a forced smile on the surface. It sounded harmless, but it left a lingering discomfort, until I realized it was their way of expressing frustration about their own workload. Have you ever encountered a joke or comment that felt more like a jab? How did you handle it? Let's discuss this below. Sign 3. Exclusion from decisions or plans. Imagine being in a group where decisions are made. Plans are formed and somehow you're always the last to know. Or worse, not included at all. This subtle exclusion may seem like an oversight, but it often signals something deeper. Stoicism encourages us to focus only on what we can control. Being excluded can sting, but it also reveals where we stand in others' minds. If it's deliberate, their behavior reflects their own values or lack thereof. Not your worth, recognize it, but don't internalize it. Have you ever been left out and wondered why? Was it intentional or a misunderstanding? Let's reflect on this together in the comments. Sign 4. Unwillingness to celebrate your success. Have you ever achieved something meaningful, only to be met with indifference from someone you thought would cheer you on? This kind of reaction often goes unnoticed because it's hidden behind silence or lukewarm acknowledgement. The Stoics celebrated virtues, including joy for others' achievements. When someone can't celebrate your success, it often stems from envy, a reflection of their discontent. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Rejoice with those who rejoice," is an exercise in cultivating virtue within ourselves. After completing a significant project, I was ecstatic. Most of my colleagues congratulated me except one. They offered a half-hearted, "Good for you," then quickly changed the subject. Later I learned they had been competing for the same opportunity and felt overshadowed. Their reaction had little to do with my success and everything to do with their own feelings. Sign 5, overemphasis on your flaws. Some people magnify your mistakes under the guise of helping you improve. But is it constructive criticism or something else entirely? The Stoics teach us to welcome genuine feedback, but also to discern its intent. When someone fixates on your flaws, it often stems from their need to feel superior. Epictetus reminds us that our worth isn't defined by others' judgments. Instead, ask yourself, is this critique fair, or does it carry an undertone of malice? Do you think frequent criticism always comes from a place of dislike? Or can it be misunderstood? Let's debate this below. Sign 6, limited communication. Have you noticed someone responding to you with short, curt answers, or perhaps avoiding conversations altogether? This kind of distancing can be subtle but powerful. Limited communication can stem from many causes, but the key is to observe the pattern. The Stoics remind us to look beyond words and focus on actions. Are they simply busy, or are they deliberately distancing themselves? Approach with curiosity, not assumption. A friend once began replying to my messages with one-word answers, and our conversations grew sparse. When I finally asked, they admitted they had been harboring resentment over a comment I made weeks earlier. Their silence was their way of coping with unresolved feelings. Sign 7, contradictory behavior. One day they're warm, the next they're cold. Their behavior feels like a pendulum swinging unpredictably. What should you trust? Stoicism teaches us to observe patterns over time. Actions often reveal truth more than words. Contradictory behavior is a sign of internal conflict. They're likely grappling with their own feelings about you, which manifests in inconsistency. Have you experienced someone whose behavior leaves you guessing? How do you interpret it? Let's unpack this together below. Remain emotionally detached. Dislike, especially when hidden, has a way of pulling at our emotions. But here's the truth: you can't control how others feel about you. What you can control, however, is how you respond. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you sense someone's animosity, it's easy to spiral into overanalysis. Did I say something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? This cycle only breeds insecurity. Instead, step back. See their behavior as an external event, one you observe but don't let infiltrate your peace. The Stoics encourage us to examine our judgments. Are we assuming malice where there may be none? By grounding yourself in this practice, you reclaim your emotional equilibrium. Address the issue or let go. There are moments when a calm, honest conversation can clear the air. If the person is important to you, a family member, close friend or colleague, it's worth addressing their behavior. But confrontation isn't about accusation. It's about clarity. Ask questions instead of making statements. I've noticed some distance between us lately. Is something on your mind? This approach aligns with Stoic principles. It's rational, measured, and aims to foster understanding. However, not every situation requires confrontation. If their behavior doesn't significantly affect your life or well-being, letting go may be the wiser choice. You always have the option of having no opinion. By choosing not to engage, you protect your peace and focus on what truly matters, your own growth and virtue. Practical Stoic exercises. 1. Journaling for perspective. At the end of each day, reflect on your interactions. Write about any moments that felt tense or uncomfortable. Ask yourself, what was within my control in this situation? What wasn't? Journaling allows you to process emotions without acting impulsively, giving you clarity on whether the issue is worth pursuing. 2. Daily reflection. The Stoics practiced a daily review of their thoughts and actions. At night, consider whether you acted justly and with virtue. Did someone's behavior bother you today? Reflect on why. Were you more concerned with their actions or your reaction? This habit builds emotional resilience over time. 3. Reframing negative interactions. When faced with subtle hostility, try to reframe the experience. Instead of thinking, why do they dislike me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Even negative interactions can teach us patience, humility, or self-awareness. Reframing doesn't excuse poor behavior, but shifts your focus from frustration to growth. Stoic wisdom is not about avoiding challenges. It's about facing them with reason and courage. When someone dislikes you and hides it, see it as an opportunity to strengthen your character, control your judgments, respond with grace, and let your actions reflect your commitment to living virtuously. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Why dislike exists? Dislike can feel personal, even painful, but here's the reality. People's perceptions are shaped by their own struggles, insecurities, and biases. You have power over your mind. Not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When someone harbors dislike, it often stems from their own internal conflicts. Maybe they see in you something they wish they had, or something they fear. Recognizing this truth frees you from taking their feelings as a reflection of your worth. Instead, you can view their behavior with compassion and curiosity, rather than resentment or hurt. Have you ever discovered that someone disliked you, only to later learn it had nothing to do with you? How did it change your perspective? Share your insights in the comments. The importance of indifference. Epictetus teaches us to practice indifference, to what lies outside our control. Whether someone likes or dislikes you is their judgment, not yours. Chasing validation is a never-ending pursuit. True peace comes from aligning with your own values. When you encounter dislike, remind yourself, this is their burden, not mine. Imagine the mental space you'd free up by letting go of the need to change someone's opinion of you. Indifference isn't about coldness. It's about prioritizing inner peace over external approval. I once worked hard to gain the favor of someone who seemed indifferent. To me, every effort to connect felt forced. It wasn't until I stepped back and focused on being true to myself that I found peace. And surprisingly, their attitude softened over time. Likely because they sensed I was no longer trying so hard to win their approval. Now imagine this. You've just discovered that someone dislikes you. In the past, you might have overanalyzed, replaying interactions in your mind, or even confronting them in frustration. But after watching this video, how would you respond differently? Would you pause to reflect on their behavior without taking it personally? Would you choose to approach them with calm curiosity, or simply let go and focus on what you can control? This is the Stoic path to respond with clarity and wisdom, not impulsivity. Think about how this new perspective might change your relationships. Let me know your thoughts below. How will you respond to hidden dislike differently after today? Summarize key lessons. Today, we explored 7 subtle signs that someone dislikes you and is hiding it. We discussed how avoidance, passive aggression, exclusion, and other behaviors often reveal more about the other person than they do about you. The Stoic response is rooted in emotional detachment, rational reflection, and virtuous action. Whether through journaling, reframing negative interactions, or choosing to let go, these practices empower you to maintain your peace. Remember, their dislike is their burden to carry, not yours. Your task is to live justly, wisely, and authentically, as Seneca said. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Don't let someone's hidden feelings weigh you down. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help grow our Stoic Way community. Your support empowers us to continue sharing these timeless insights. And now I'd love to hear from you. Have you experienced hidden dislike? How did you handle it? Comment below. We read every single one and value your input. Thank you for watching. Remember, the way we respond to life's challenges defines us far more than the challenges themselves. Until next time, walk the Stoic way.